All right, so it has been a minute since I bitched about a survivor perk, and I wanted to bitch about one that a lot of people have been bitching about for like the last 7 years, and that's Decisive Strike. So I have a pretty big problem with Decisive Strike. I've had this problem with it for a long time now, but I got into a match where it was a really bad example recently, and it made me want to make a video about it. So basically, I think Decisive Strike needs to change to where if you down a survivor, they get their DS, right? And then you go down another survivor entirely in that 60-second window. The first survivor, once you hook the second survivor, the first survivor should lose their DS because you're not tunneling anymore. If I hook a survivor, then hook a different one entirely too fast, why should I get punished for potentially running into that survivor again? That survivor could force themselves into my path and force me to down them and force me to pick them up. You know, I could slug if I thought there was a DS at play, but like I shouldn't even have to worry about that because I went out of my way and downed somebody else entirely and then hooked them, right? So DS should deactivate on the first survivor. So we can check this out. I hooked the Kate, as you've seen in the background, and then I hooked the Zarina. I go up top, I kick the Jin, get my nowhere to hide, and I move to the middle of the map. And we can see the Kate standing at the strongest loop in the game, the cow tree, right? This loop is very brutal. It's very brutal even for me because I have a very small window of opportunity to land my hatchets unless I'm throwing it over the top. I use my skill to capitalize on that and hit her over the tops of the loop twice because she doesn't learn her lesson. So I pick her up. I get hit with Decisive Strike. So I get punished for, one, her not learning her lesson and not being that good of a looper. I also get punished for being too good at my power and understanding the extent of my capabilities with it. And I also get punished for just being too efficient at chasing and downing other survivors as well, right? This really doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't feel fair. Now, maybe you could make the argument that the survivors really needed that help because obviously I'm slaughtering them. But at the end of the day, nobody likes to be punished for being good at what they do, right? It really doesn't make sense. So, you know, imagine survivors had something to where if they pop a generator, they're slowed by 30% on their next generator for 30 seconds. You know, it just doesn't really feel fair. It doesn't make sense. It's an anti-tunnel mechanic, but it's also an being too good at using your power mechanic, right? It really doesn't make sense. So I think this change would be a small and simple change that wouldn't actually ruin the perk in any way. Like, would you get less value out of it? I mean, for sure. But at the end of the day, it's an anti-tunnel perk, not an anti-hooking perk, right? It should only punish a killer if they're returning to the hook, right? So maybe you could make it a 90-second timer, and then if they hook another survivor entirely, it deactivates it entirely. So it will actually do a better job at preventing tunneling, and then it will also stop a killer from being punished for being too good at the game, I guess. Like, I really just don't. I just really have a problem with the perk, and it was just so annoying to deal with it. Even though I won this match easily, it's just like, why am I being punished for being so good at my killer? Why am I being punished for the survivor not learning their lesson? You know, why am I being punished for not tunneling? How is an anti-tunnel perk affecting me who's not tunneling? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just frustrating, I guess. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about that for a little bit and just rant about it, I guess. So that does it for this one. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one.